Let's talk to Jonathan Taylor now, the child safeguarding consultant, former detective for 15 years working in child abuse investigations, because Andy Burnham, the Mayor of Manchester, has come out finally and said to Keir Starmer, actually, I think you're wrong. I think we should have an inquiry into the grooming gang scandal. Jonathan's here. Jonathan, very good morning to you.
Morning, Mike.
Thanks very much for joining us. Andy Burnham has seen the light. Dan Hodges just said to me there he doesn't understand why anybody would not think an inquiry is a good idea. What do you think?
100% agree. Yeah, I mean, we know, well, some people may not know, but Andy Burnham, as Mayor, was it 2017, he did a review looking at the grooming gangs and what was going on in Oldham and Manchester and Rochdale. And that was welcomed, obviously, at the time. And, of course, it found the authorities had failed. So we know that there's been these reviews in time. So it does seem strange. You know, we've had a YouGov poll recently, well, yesterday, 75% of the public have said they want an inquiry. So is this just another very odd, very strange decision being made by Keir Starmer, or is he just listening to the wrong people and wrong advisors?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people who think he's listening to the wrong people because he wants to listen to them, because he doesn't really want to sort of pull the stones up again and see what lies underneath them, because some of those stones might lead to criticism of Labour in general and possibly Keir Starmer individually.
Yeah, I mean, he seems, you know, his justification seems to be the J inquiry. Now, again, this was an overall inquiry. This wasn't one specifically for the grooming gangs, which will name, you know, British, Asian men of Pakistan heritage. We know that's what's happened here. We know it now. We're there. I mean, I began these sort of inquiries back in the late 80s in the mid-90s and to the start of the 90s. And then it just wasn't believed, it wasn't accepted. But things have changed now. So I think he's got to step away from saying, well, the J inquiry, the recommendations are just recommendations for the whole of the report that was done on child exploitation and child abuse. We're talking about a specific national inquiry into the grooming gangs in these 45 to 50 cities. This is an epidemic. This is organised crime. It's not, you know, sex offenders, child sex offenders come in different forms. You can't put them into one category. Right. So what you need to do is say, right, let's have a look. Where are the failings? Why have they been allowed to grow? Why have they been allowed to operate? Why have we let down victims? And why, of course, have they been let down by the authorities, from the police to the social services, to the local government, and, of course, to the actual government itself?
Exactly right, and I think we know where the areas of problems are, and we know where we can go to find out who's responsible for those problems, and particularly the cover-up that went on for years and years and years and years. We're about to talk to Jasmine in Bedfordshire, who's got a story for us about her own daughter. And the thing is, surely we should be able to not have an inquiry that goes on for years and years and years, it costs hundreds of millions of pounds, but we can have a very more focused and sort of forensic inquiry into specific people in specific places at specific times, which should be a lot quicker and a lot cheaper.
Again, yes, I agree. I mean, I think it would be less than a year. Bear in mind, we can work back 8 years ago when Andy Burnham himself did those reviews. So we've actually got something to actually start with. We've already seen, of course, what he's also been able to point out, what we need with this national inquiry is the fact that there will be officers and officials will be under oath. They're going to have to give evidence. He had the situation back there in 7, 8 years ago. A lot of the police officers refused to give evidence. That's just all wrong. Yeah. So we need this national inquiry to put pressure onto the authorities to say what went wrong, what wasn't done, so we can make sure these gangs are disrupted. That's what we need to do.
Yeah, absolutely right. Jonathan, good to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed. Jonathan Taylor, child safeguarding consultant and former detective with 15 years in child abuse investigations. He says yes. So does Andy Burnham. Why does Keir Starmer keep saying no?